All right, so this is a suggestion via a channel member. The name of the video is Breaking. Trump deploys National Guard to 19 states amid crime crackdown. All right, listen, there are a couple of states I definitely would like for it to exist in. I would say kind of like almost a permanent thing. I've mentioned it all the time. I can just go ahead and name some cities, mainly the south side of Chicago, Memphis, Tennessee, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, St. Louis, East St. Louis, the west side of Atlanta. I would love to see these things happen immediately, okay? Because I mean, the only way to fix some of this stuff is to actually have, let's say, the ability to fix some of these things. All right, because obviously, if the people can't do it, it's time for us to. Truth be told, but let's go ahead and jump into the video immediately.
President Trump's crime crackdown sweeping the nation. After deploying the National Guard to Washington, D.C., now the White House plans to extend its effort across 19 states, all with the goal of curbing crime and supporting immigration enforcement. We'll talk to Republican Congressman Pat Fallon in just a moment. Plus, an illegal alien accused of killing 3 people in a truck accident is due in court today. What he's facing as yet another illegal alien, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, was set free. And we're getting new details this morning on the raid of former National Security Advisor John Bolton's home and office. Okay. So what was the FBI looking for and why? Welcome to Fox News Live, everybody. I'm Kevin Cork in the nation's capital. We begin.
I can't lie, bro. You look fake. Like, you look very easy to draw, if that makes any sense here, sir. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but is this AI?
At the White House, just across the road, where the president wrapped up a fairly busy week, I think it's easy to say. Lucas Tomlinson joins us from the North Lawn. Hey, LT.
Good morning, Kevin. We just received some new numbers. Over 2,000 National Guardsmen are this morning patrolling the streets of Washington, D.C. This comes as the D.C. police force, we know, is over 800 cops short. And those National Guardsmen are coming from a number of states, part of President Trump's crackdown on crime here in the nation's capital. And yesterday in the White House, the president says they could be going to other cities in the future.
We're going to make our cities very, very safe. Chicago's a mess. You have an incompetent mayor, grossly incompetent.
Grossly incompetent.
We'll straighten that one out probably next. So I think Chicago will be our next, and then we'll help with New York.
Okay.
So Chicago and New York, Kevin. Now, for context, last year, the murder rate in D.C. was on par with Chicago and nearly 4 times higher than Los Angeles and nearly 6 times higher than New York, as you can see there. And you mentioned off the top, 1,700 National Guard members will be sent to 19 states. That's less than 100 per state. The White House says they will be helping DHS with clerical support and other logistical tasks for processing illegal aliens at ICE facilities. Now, speaking of law enforcement, yesterday FBI agents raided the home of Trump's former National Security Advisor, John Bolton, outside Washington, his home in Montgomery County, Maryland. And FBI agents were also seen in his office, the one he rents here in Washington, carrying boxes of documents, likely searching for classified information. Yesterday, the president admitted he's not a fan of Bolton, who wrote a book criticizing Trump after Bolton left the White House.
I'm not a fan of John Bolton. I thought he was a sleazebag, actually. And he suffers major Trump derangement syndrome.
Now, since returning to the White House, Trump revoked the security clearance from Bolton and also took away his protective detail. And we've also learned the FBI director yesterday during that raid tweeted that no one is above the law and said the FBI is on mission, Kevin.
Okay. Yeah, definitely, like, based off what I just encountered here, it definitely sounds like this was a targeted maneuver from the federal government. But let's get some more information.
I said in the new forward to the paperback edition of my book, I think it is a retribution presidency.
And that security clearance was pulled after the president returned to office, and that also came at the same time he had some threats on his life from Iranian officials. Of course, Bolton had a lot to do with that strike on Qasem Soleimani.
Okay.
Kevin?
That he did. LT on the North Lawn. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate that. The president, meantime, calling it a miracle, saying D.C. is safe again after he cracked down on crime right here in the nation's capital. And now that effort is actually expanding across the country.
Okay, hold on. Okay, Georgia. Again, I absolutely believe that the National Guard needs to be on the west side of Atlanta specifically, or the southwest side. I definitely agree with certain areas having it. Houston, Texas. I don't know about Utah. What do you mean? Why would they be in Utah? I don't know. But either way, I don't I don't mess with the West Coast. Let's just say that there. I can see maybe Omaha, Nebraska, maybe definitely Baton Rouge, definitely Memphis. There's another town kind of to the west of Atlanta that is kind of in the direction of Alabama that I think it's like right here, right above, right in this region here. That is terrible. It may be one of the worst towns, like cities in the United States of America. Okay, I can definitely think of like Newport News or in that region in Virginia, and definitely Ohio. Now that I'm seeing it here, okay. Oh yeah, send them all. Okay. Now, understand this here, guys. I do not back the concept of turning the United States of America into a third world country. I've traveled to enough third world countries to see, military type men on the streets here, guys. But if the National Guard is like exclusively being put into the hood, I'm completely fine with it because I'm not in the hood. I don't go to the hood, so I don't see it. It doesn't bother me, right? But those individuals definitely need some type of accountability for the actions that are that they are basically levying on their neighbors.
Country. Texas Republican Congressman Pat Fallon is here with us this afternoon. This morning. It is great to have you with us. This is one of those situations, frankly, you and I have to live here, and anything that we can do to make it safer for citizens like us or for visitors in particular, I think is a very strong move by this White House.
Yeah, I'm not angry.
Oh, yeah, Kevin, it's bold action. I mean, consider that the chairman of the police union in D.C. has admitted and shared that they were told to downgrade serious crimes like shootings and carjackings to lesser crimes. And even with D.C. hooking the books on their crime statistics, you're 3.5 times more likely to be killed in D.C. than you were in 2012 when a serious crime is committed. And from 2018 to 2023, carjackings are up 550%. So things are out of control. And thank goodness President Trump has taken these, again, bold actions.
Yeah, bold actions. And in particular, when you look at the numbers, I mean, you talk about homicides, none for several days, over a week. I mean, this, again, is the little slow march toward what we should expect in our nation's capital, quite frankly. There's absolutely no reason to expect to get mugged or carjacked or assaulted just because you live here. And so I think this is great action. I think most Americans can agree with that as long as they don't have TDS. Meantime, in your home state of Texas, the state Senate there actually passed a GOP-drawn congressional map, paving the way, as you know, for 5 more seats. The president, without question, praising that effort. But I have a 3-part question. Why do it? Could this be a harbinger of things to come across the country? And is that a good thing?
Okay, so that's a great question. All fair questions. Why do it? If you look at, and let's just talk data, and no spin, because Newsom, all Gavin Newsom was good at is slicking his hair back and spinning. So if you take the 5 largest states that are completely controlled by Democrats, which are California, Washington, Illinois, New York, and New Jersey, there are 117 congressional seats in those 5 states. And 93 of them were Democratic seats and only 24 Republican. That's a 79% to 21% ratio. If you take the 5 largest red states, Texas, Tennessee, Georgia, Ohio, and Florida, there's 104 seats. And that ratio is 72-32 for 69 to 31%. So the Democrats were very good at gerrymandering. In fact, very effectively, because we had 5 million more votes, GOP candidates for Congress in 2024, and we almost lost the House. So all this is doing is slightly rebalancing the scales. It's still skewed in the Democrats' favor. So to say that this is a threat on democracy is ludicrous and the absolute definition of hyperbole.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you mentioned that, because if you really get down to brass tacks here, if all the GOP-led states decide to do just what Illinois and California have done, you could see a major swing in the balance of power here in the nation's capital. And a lot of people feel like you have to make this happen now, especially when you consider what's been happening previous elections. If this happens before the midterms, let me tell you, Katie barred the door. The GOP could be in very good shape for the final 2 years of this term. President Trump.
Okay, guys. I think we're kind of getting off topic here. I do like the fact, and I mean this to the depth of me. I've been saying this pretty regularly, probably over the last year and a half, kind of even before Trump decided to basically put the National Guard, let's say, up their presence in Washington, D.C., that the military or some type of military, obviously not our army or any of these, actual military, let's say the National Guard, let's say, needs to in fact be placed in some of the highest crime areas, period. Because obviously if they had the ability to self-govern, then in any meaningful manner, at least, then these things would not be happening here, guys, okay? Stop the nonsense, or go outside and be under a curfew. That's how that works here going forward. I'm sorry, guys. If you do not have the ability to control your kids, I also think that you should be looking at some type of, charges for your kids' actions, right? Because again, I know where my kids are at all times of the day. Right? They're generally never that far away from me unless they're in school, right? Like other than that, and trust me, in school, I specifically have it set up that they get random checks throughout the day, and I mean this. I mean this. I will not allow my children to fail. I will not. Like I'm telling you, when I say random checks, I mean I know the principal. I have his cell phone number for my daughter's school. She's in high school. I talk to him and I say, hey, listen, I think it's time to do like a random backpack check on her, that type of thing. All right. I want to make sure that she's not falling in with the wrong crowds. I say specifically, I do not want her around the deviants. If she's around deviants, you let me know. All right, you let me know immediately. When she goes to school, I want her backpack checked on a regular basis, at random, obviously, just to make sure again that there is nothing nefarious happening with any of the people that she's around or in school. All right, period. I'm sorry, guys. I will not allow my kids to fail. Like the moment they start to slip, like for example, my daughter came home. She said she had a 98 in math. That is a little bit too low. Okay, personally, that's a little bit too low for this household. My son has just recently skipped 2 grades. So we're just trying to make sure that we have, in fact, a successful, meaningful, right, existence here. No failing. There's no failures allowed here, guys. We don't play that. All right. And so she's looking to, start, let's say some extra credit type of things. So we're going to try to get her back up to a perfect grade. That's where she needs to basically maintain for the entirety of high school, because this is important. Her GPA is important to me, very much so. So we need to start holding people accountable for everything. Like if you do something wrong, bro, that's what you did. You're going to have to now accept it. And the area that you live in specifically, due to the high crime, unfortunately, bro, you're all going to have to deal with it until you all come together and say, we're not going to do this anymore. Listen, get rid of the snitch culture. If you see someone doing wrong, tell on them, bro. Please call the cops on them immediately. Stop playing, bro. All right. If you do that, then we'll pull the National Guard out of your neighborhood. If not, curfews, mandatory curfews. If your kid is out, you're going to jail. All those those teen flash mob type of things that they're doing, guys, all of the parents go to jail. All of them. I bet you won't allow your kid out again to do this craziness, right? Please. My kids are not out after dark, bro. Like I'm telling you, I'm talking about 20, 30 minutes before it gets dark. My daughter's in the house, bro. Period. Right? There is no, I was distracted. You better not be distracted. That's not how things work here. Right? I don't know, guys. I'm strict. I'm sorry. I under no circumstances will I accept the failure of my family. I will not. I will not accept failures at all. I will not, guys. But either way, listen, and I think that type of mentality needs to be passed on to this entire generation of Gen Z. I think they need that. Like, she doesn't have any social media, none of that stuff. Forget all of that stuff, guys. But either way, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. If you guys are newer, please like and subscribe. And definitely you can yell at me about my parenting in the comments. It's fine. I'm down for it.